This is part of the lower Tennessee Hollow watershed, and it's part of the waters that now emerge from springs in the upper part of the watershed. This project is a classic example of daylighting, where water is initially in a pipe underneath fill, the fill is removed, the pipe is removed, and the water is exposed. In this example, over 30 feet of fill was removed, and the soil surface used to go from the base of that brick building up and then down to those redwoods. So all that material was about 77,000 tons of fill. And now the water is flowing on the soil surface again, creating a functioning ecosystem. Visitors seem to love seeing the running water and hearing the trickle of the water right there in the urban area. We hear lots of good things from park users about how well the plants have survived and grown.
Well, I've noticed, along with a lot of other folks around here, that they've used native plants. Everything that really belongs here is here. And another thing I've noticed since I do live here is that the population of birds has just grown immensely. They're all over the place, and they make such happy noises, so hey, it's all good.
So before about 1870, this creek cut through the bluffs and dumped down into the sloughs and marshes where Presidio Lagoon now is. Before about 1870, the area was home to a garden and to a firing range. And after the firing range had served its purpose, the water was put into a culvert and other buildings were built on top of the site. Over time, those buildings were demolished and became part of an Army landfill. The event that motivated the start of this project is the remediation of this former Army landfill. And so the removal of the fill and the removal of the culvert that was under the fill that contained the water for that creek, we got to take it back out. Willows were used to create the structure of the creek. Willow posts were installed at the edge of the creek on the outside bends so that the force of the water would not erode the bank. The straw was spread across the site, which helped stop the water from carrying the recently exposed soil into the creek. With the cleanup of that site, it gave us the opportunity to move forward on native plant restoration work. We've had definitely well over 100 volunteers working out there, and so the winter of 05-06 we planted 35,000 native plants. And then over the next year we did maintenance of those plants. We built a brush pile, which was very useful, especially early on, providing a place for the birds to hide and to forage from. Straw wattles, which are these sort of burrito type things that were used to stop erosion on the site. And we also installed cover boards for salamanders and lizards to hide in and use for shelter. We've planted or seeded 156 native plant species. That's a lot of species. The reason is that we have riparian forests, we've got grasslands, we've got scrublands, we've got freshwater marshes, a whole variety of habitats all jammed into this couple-acre spot. The plants and water provide habitat for insects, and those insects in turn provide food for insect-eating birds like phoebes and swallows. This site has provided habitat for lots of different species, including this rare butterfly. The Myleta crescent is a locally rare butterfly that was recently seen at this site. The native habitat for this butterfly is creek corridors, and most of those creeks have been destroyed in San Francisco, so it's found in only a couple of spots. Finding this rare butterfly is a testament to the success of this site. It's much more likely for birds to transit across all this pavement. It's in sort of a bird's eye view. They can see little green spots ahead of them, so they can fly over from Chrissy Marsh to Thompson Reach and then move up watershed. And hopefully over time, as the Tennessee Hollow Watershed Project moves along, the green areas and the restored areas will expand. The Tennessee Hollow Watershed has these 3 headwaters, and we're going to start working on that restoration in general, sort of start at the upper end of the watershed and move down. Water that used to be on the surface is now mostly in pipes underground. One of the main tributaries starts at El Pauline Spring, and where there's this year-round water flow, and all sorts of organisms still love it. It's a great wetland right there at the base of Inspiration Point. Water provides essential sustenance to the native plants and animals of the Presidio. And so we hope to create one contiguous watercourse all the way from the upper watershed all the way down to the bay.